guys, and welcome to this week's edition of the Coffee and Hero Show as I take you through the new stock that came in this week. The usual mix of some old classics coming back in, some new releases this week, and some nice deluxe hardcover editions coming in as well. So, of course, these are all going out for sale on the 23rd, new comic book day this week, 23rd of March. So, yeah, good selection. DC, Marvel, Indie, we got you covered. So the first thing just to take you through is, of course, if you're new to this channel, first of all, welcome. If you've been here for quite a while, you'll know we're always getting the Epic Collections in as much as we can, because Epic Collections, they're great volumes with full colour reprints and great collections of older issues, but they also don't stay in print for very long because Marvel has such a back catalogue going back 60, 70 years. They're never really going to stay in print, so if some of ours that we have in sell, we try to get them straight back in as much as possible. So last week we sold out of the Venom Epic Collections, of which there are 2 so far, but we managed to get both volumes back in again. So you've got Venom from the very start, which is including all your Spider-Man stuff, your first appearance, your origin, all that kind of stuff. And then it goes right up to volume 2, which is 92 to 93 as well. So again, we can never guarantee that the Epic Collections will always be in stock, but we'll always do our best certainly to get them in when we can. Talking about full colour reprints and so forth, of course there is the new option and slightly cheaper option of the Mighty Marvel Masterworks. So I managed to get the Avengers back in this week. This is volume 1 of the Avengers, collecting Avengers numbers 1 to 10. So the classic Lee, Kirby, Ditko magic from the very start. Again, they're always good value. They're coming in around £14.50. And again, they're full colour reprints, although slightly reduced down in size. Speaking of absolute classics, back in stock is Batman Hush, one of the single greatest Batman stories of all time. The superstar team of Jeff Loeb, Jim Lee on art, and Scott Williams on colours. You know, this is a great story whether you're a long-time Batman fan or whether this is your first Batman book, because it tends to include every villain. It has a square off with Superman. It has the romance element with Catwoman. Of course, very well timed given the recent movie and so forth. But yeah, just an absolutely fantastic story and genuinely one of the best Batman stories out there. Speaking of best stories out there, you then have Blackest Night, which is universally regarded as one of the best Green Lantern events of all time. This is the team of Jeff Johns and Doug Mahoney as well. So this is the complete Blackest Night volume, which contains Green Lantern 43 to 52, which is what it ran through. The dead are rising and the light is dying. So I've got the omnibus of the Green Lantern run, so I really need to tuck into it. But again, nothing but great stuff heard about that. Next up is the latest hardcover for the Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale collection through DC Comics. So you have Batman The Long Halloween, then you have Batman Dark Victory, and then the other one, well, there's also Haunted Night, but it hasn't hit yet. But you've got Catwoman When in Rome. They keep doing these little subtitles, Batman The Long Halloween, and then what the story is, which I think is a little bit confusing personally. But it is a pretty glorious story. It's 6 issues. You know, if you've seen the new Batman movie and the scratches on Falcone's face and stuff like that, a lot of that comes from the Tim Sale Jeff Loeb run. A lot of that characterization of Catwoman owes a lot to this, I would say. Next up, we have a indie book from Image. This is Astro City. This is, they've called it Metro Book 1. This is Kurt Busiek. You also have Brent E. Anderson on art. And then you have Alex Ross doing the cover art and also some of the character designs and so forth. Now, I've never read Astro City, but coming from this team, I'm really tempted to, because, I mean, Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross work together, of course, on Marvels, which is one of Marvel's best titles, if you ask me. But for anybody who's unfamiliar with Astro City, this is collecting together Volume 1, which is 1 to 6, Volume 2, 1 to 12, plus Wizard Presents. So for Astro City, it's meet a hero who dreams every night of flying an alien spy preparing the way for an invasion, a young man mentored by a hero with dark secrets, a street criminal who discovers a hero's identity, and much more. When Astro City debuted, it hit comics like an earthquake, revolutionizing the superhero genre and winning its creators multiple industry awards, including Best Writer, Best Series, as well as the prestigious Eisner Award for Best Single Issue, 3 years running, all 3 of which are included in this book as well. So ridiculously high praise for that. I really must tuck into that myself. Back in stock, it was actually a new release last week, but we just got it back in stock again. It just sold out like that. Once in Future, we're up to volume 4 now. Of course, we now know Once in Future is going to end around issue 30, which will be 5 volumes. So this is the penultimate volume for Kieran Gillen, Dan Mora, and Tamara Bonvillens classic. A new one this week that I'm quite excited about as well is The All-Nighter. Now, this is another Comixology original done by Chip Zdarsky and Jason Liu. Now, these guys worked on Afterlift before, which was a Comixology original, and then it was printed through Dark Horse Comics. Same thing here. So this is same creative team. And with this one, it's Welcome to The All-Nighter, the only diner in town where you can get coffee and a meal from sunset to sunrise. The staff are friendly, kind of. Happy to serve you, sometimes. And it would never cross their minds to drink their customers' blood. Alex is bored flipping burgers for strangers all night is no way for a vampire to live. But he and his fellow vampires, Joy, Cynthia and Ian, have agreed to blend into human society. Inspired by superhero movies, one of the few passions in his own life, Alex decides to don a cape and start fighting bad guys. But his decision will have bigger consequences than he realizes for himself and everyone he wants to protect. So that sounds great. Chip Zdarsky, I'm sold straight away. Anyway. Next up we have from Aftershock Comics a horror title. This is called Bunny Mask. This is one that I read. It's from the team of Paul Tobin and Andrea Muti. The artist especially was a standout for me because he did the art on Maniac of New York, which was another Aftershock Dark Horse, another Aftershock horror title. And this was pretty great as well. Very, very creepy to do with an old legend of a woman who got trapped in a cave, and was she still alive when they finally get into that cave. Very creepy, trippy stuff, that one. Also have Out of Body. This one was pretty cool as well. This was to do with a guy who's stuck in a coma. He can't speak, he can't communicate, but he wants to try and figure out who put him there. So he's able to basically have an out-of-body experience and communicate with a psychic who agrees to look into the case for him and try and help him with it. They have this connection. So yeah, really, really cool. Really nice artwork as well, Nikki Miranda. So good stuff there. Next up from Scout Comics. So again, we're always trying to make sure we get the indie comics in, not just from Image, not just from Boom, but if there's great stuff out there from other publishers, we're going to try and get it in. So from Scout Comics, this is one called Sam and His Talking Gun. Now, I haven't read this, but I have a couple of regulars who had this on their pull list, spoke very, very highly of it. I really like the noir sort of stylings of the art. With this one, it's Sam stands in a room full of bodies, blood and broken things. There is only one thing in his mind. There is only one thing that matters. Colt. His brother by choice, not blood. Colt, the one who put a bullet through the only other person Sam cared about. The one who broke Sam's mind and left the shattered pieces in a locked room. But now Sam is back. He has his talking gun, and no matter the cost, no matter the consequence, Colt has to pay. Sounds like noir mixed with supernatural elements. Count me in. Next up, we have Wonder Woman. So this was a digital series, I believe. There was a digital series that kicked things off with, who was it? It was Amanda Connor, I think, and Jimmy Palmiotti. But this is a digital only series, and this contains chapters 12 to 23. So as well as Wonder Woman stuff in here, you've also got Satana, you've got Cheetah in here as well. So again, digital first, but first time in print collecting those. Next up is volume 2 of Two Moons, which is another cool supernatural one set during sort of the end of the American Civil War. And this has been pretty sweet as well. John Arcudi and Carmine De Giordanico doing the art on that. Next up we have Transformers Beast Wars Volume 1. So again, trying to expand the Transformers line, what we have. Beast Wars I hear is one of the best around as well. And again, this is a Volume 1, so great jumping on point for people. And yeah, again, I have a few guys who are on that say it's very, very good. We have a 40th anniversary special edition for Empire Strikes Back. So this is not so much a comic as almost like a celebration book. It's more like a coffee table book, I suppose you would say. But it's published through Titan and Disney, of course. So Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary special explores the myths, legends, and reality behind the critical and box office smash. Learn how iconic sequences such as the Battle of Hoth, the Millennium Falcon's pursuit through the asteroid field, and Luke Skywalker's epic duel with Darth Vader in Cloud City were brought from script to screen. Featuring on-set interviews with cast and crew, fun facts, production photos, and original concept art. So, Star Wars fan, we know there's tons of yous out there. That's the ultimate sort of peek behind the curtain, I suppose. Next up we have Lock and Key Volume 3. I showcased Volume 2 of this last week. These are what are called the Master Editions. So nice big hardcover books, expanded art as well. And this contains the third and final act of Lock and Key, one of the best indie comic series you will ever read. Joe Hill, Gabriel Rodriguez on it all the way through. So we had 1 and 2 in stock in the store, just needed to get number 3 in. And then I'll finish off with 2 books, and the reason we got this in, we were lucky enough about a week and a half ago to interview Christian Ward, who of course has the upcoming Bloodstained Teeth as a writer, but Christian Ward is one of the best artists in comics. Really trippy style, really unique, really iconic, and from chatting through to him, I wanted to make sure to get more and more of his work in. We already had a few of the titles on the shelves, but two that I noticed were missing, so I wanted to get in. One from Marvel, one from Image. So the Marvel series is Black Bolt. This was written by Saladin Ahmed and then Christian Ward on art all the way. Now, what I find with Marvel series is, I mean, I don't know an awful lot about the Inhumans, but what I find is with characters I don't know an awful lot about, when they get a solo series that's all self-contained like this, it tends to be really, really strong. So with this one, it's Black Bolt has been in prison, but what jail could hold he whose merest whisper can shatter mountains? And who could be powerful enough to put him in chains? The answers will shock you, and Black Bolt as well. Featuring infamous villain, the Absorbing Man, bounty hunter Death's Head, and young alien girl known as Blinky, and the truly terrifying jailer in a tale that explores what it's like to be held captive by fear and what it is to be free. So art style alone is enough to have me interested in this. You've also got some fill-in art as well as Christian Ward from two really strong artists, Fraser Irvine and Stephanie Hans, who of course did Die. So that is a complete mini-series, and again, one that is very tempting for myself. But to finish off with, this is one that I did get for myself as well. So this is a series called Odyssey. And this was written by Matt Fraction and art by Christian Ward. So we went into some great detail when we were chatting with Christian about the process for this, about the amount of world building done by Matt Fraction on the writing side of things. Apparently he put as much work in writing this and creating this world as any artist would put in drawing. I mean, with comics, you always got to think of it as, the sort of old joke is, it takes a writer 10 seconds to write it, it takes an artist a week to draw it. But apparently with this, Matt Fraction was just as deeply involved as Christian Ward was and spent as much time on it. So this is another hardcover edition. Again, Image put together these really nice hardcovers. Again, they don't stay in print for long. But I managed to grab one of these for myself as well. I'm really looking forward to jumping into it. It essentially was a 12-issue maxi series, and all the issues are here. Again, oversized art, beautiful hardcover, and a brand new cover from Christian Ward as well. So that is your weekly take through of new stuff into the store. So again, a little mix of everything, as we always try to do. We try to cater for as many people as possible and certainly recommend the stuff that we enjoy as well. So I look forward to seeing you guys in store soon. As ever, as anything appeals to you, just drop us a message. We can get you sorted, or of course pop into the store, and hopefully we'll see you then. So weather's looking good, so hopefully it's that way the rest of the week, so we'll see as many of you in store as possible. So again, in the meantime, stay safe out there and take it easy.